Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here we talk everything Milan, even sometimes some Italy news, and as always, where we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Stevie P, Vinny T, Italia over here, and thank you to our good friend from Chicago, the one that put a roof over my head when I was there last September. Look what he gave me, guys. This is a 1990 official jersey. What a fantastic walks with Lenny. Check him out on Twitter. He's number one. As we did last week, it's not because Milan's not playing that we're taking days off, are we? And first off, I wanted to start saying thank you. Thank you to everybody. I believe it's a couple of consecutive weeks with over 1,000 listens, views through all platforms. It's very humbling. Seeing your comments online, all these new followers, the Twitter machine, the YouTube machine, everywhere from over there. But Steve, I was thinking of something. What goes through one of these new listeners' mind or ears when they hear our putting in perspective presidential points? You want to take a couple of minutes to explain? That's our little, it's a little thingamajiggy that we do here on the show. But go ahead, Steve, take 2 minutes and explain to our new viewers. And
so the new listeners, new viewers, basically, Presidente from Milan Club Montreal, he provides us with presidential points.
Excuse me, the mythical figure.
Yeah, mythical figure. Provides us with presidential points. So he likes to get into the podcast without actually being on the podcast. Kind of, he has this character where, things don't come to him very easily, right? So something needs to happen in his life for him to absorb the soccer god's energy to produce these presidential points. Sometimes we have 10, sometimes we have 20, sometimes we have 4.
And Steve takes the time every single week to help you, the listener, or the viewers, if you're listening on YouTube, how these presidential points came to be. And without further ado, we're going to start off because this is going to be a quick podcast. We've got a couple of questions, a couple of presidential points to go through. But Steve, please enlighten the longtime viewers, listeners, and the new ones. And please, paint us a picture.
Guys, very simple this week. It came to me. I got to the studio, and I have to admit, it's the first time that I was a little stumped on how he was going to get these presidential points. It doesn't happen often. I had a rough week, and then it came to me.
It came to you.
Formula One weekend, ladies and gentlemen, in Montreal. The town is hip-hop and jamming. And what do we do on Formula One weekend? We go out on the town.
Spend money.
Lots Everything's triple the price.
Oh,
but we don't care. Because we're getting ready. So Presidente, back in the day, pump it up a bit. He was getting ready to go out with his peeps.
Yes, peeps?
Yeah. So he would take a shower. He would put a little bit of chenderba on his body. He takes a shower with upino, the pine-scented soap. Okay, guys? The canottiera goes on, the gold chain goes on. What does he spritz?
Brute.
Malizia Uomo. The green one, guys. Limited edition, only found at your local Italian store.
Oh.
Berchici has it. I've also seen it at Intermarché Lagoria. Guys, this is limited edition stuff. So that's what he used to do back in the day. Now, it's a bit serious now with the First Lady.
Okay.
So what does he do? He gets ready, guys. And instead of the Malizia Uomo, he takes a shower with is it
English leather?
English leather, ladies and gentlemen. English leather, so he has and he puts in the Old Spice. But not the Old Spice of the guy who's half a horse, half a human.
No.
The original white bottle, guys. That you unscrew the top, put it in your hand. 1, 2. Then he takes the gel. Dippity-doo gel, ladies and gentlemen. Sha. And he puts it through his hair. First Lady says, "You ready, Marcello? You ready to go?" "Yeah, baby, I'm ready to go." "Get the kids." We're going to a festa di San Gennaro. And then the points just come to him, Vinny. And he has a comb always correctly positioned in his shirt pocket. Because Presidente wears shirt pockets at work for his calculator. That's how he gets it.
Oh my! And that is exactly what we do here every week, guys. And glad you guys enjoy. And we've built up his character quite a bit in the last over a year. Has it not been, Steve? Yes, over a year. So if you guys want to have a good laugh, go through those YouTube videos. Would it be your podcast? But always entertaining to see him at the same time, Mr. Steve. Let's go directly. It's been an okay week for me. Well, okay, it hasn't been very much going on in the Milan, other than we have no idea what's going on, right? Yeah. Basically that. And to presidential point number 1, fans getting impatient. It is June 10th, and the fans are still impatient as Milan still has a few roles to fill before the official start of the Mercato on July 1st. Official announcement of Maldini as new technical director. No new coach, no new sporting director, and is Boban arriving? Yes, no. This new team has to work together and agree on which players Milan should acquire and sell. Question: are you getting impatient, or are you confident despite the waiting things are being done in the background to ensure Milan will have a more competitive team for next season?
Impatient.
Do you... Okay, so... Why are you impatient? Are you not seeing it as they're taking their time, we don't want to screw around and make the right decisions?
I think the right decision for the sporting director, yes. Maldini's position should be announced. That should be a foregone conclusion.
It has been announced, isn't it?
I haven't seen no official. I haven't seen the press conference. Now, do they want to do everybody at the same time? It could be a possibility, but we learned from the last time that when Elliott took over, they put in Leonardo, they brought in Maldini. We had a shortened Mercato window, and we had to rush things. So I'm not blaming it on the short window that we made purchases that we shouldn't have made. It's just that this team, exactly like Presidente said, need to be together in a room and decide what is the plan. A, how much money do we really have? B, who are we going to sell? Where are we going to save? And C, what direction are we going? Who are we going to buy?
If we need to believe the rumors or newspapers out there saying that we were supposed to get about 25 to spend, that they're adding an extra 15, all depending on what we sell. Rumors coming out, Atletico is ready to pay 40 million for Suso. 40 million means, Steve, we're going to take a plane over there. We're going to gift wrap him for 40 million, guys. I don't even know why it's a discussion to a lot of people. I'm sure it's going to come up in the questions. But for me, it's just like impatient. I think the only reason most of us are impatient is because there's too many stories coming out. Whether it be, okay, Boban, and then we wanted the Tarre, and now Tarre is going to say no.
Before that, it started we wanted Simone Inzaghi. And Inzaghi said no. You wanted Tarre. Tarre said no.
Or I think Tarre, that they don't want to let him go, or... I don't mind.
He said no. The official communication was no.
Okay.
No. So let's face it. Rejected by Inzaghi, rejected by Tarre. Personally, I'm not a fan of Simone Inzaghi. I am a fan of Tarre.
But it's just too many rumors, too many yes or no's, and I think Boban, from what I've read, because other than guys, us we're two regular Joes here. It's not like we know what Boban does on a regular basis nowadays, other than
work for FIFA,
or back in the day when he was trashing Antonio Conte on that Muntari goal, which I love watching from over there. But I don't know, guys. I guess glass half full, glass half empty. Hopefully this week we're gonna get some more news about the new Milan. How many times do we have to say that every single year? The new Milan.
But isn't it alarming that we have this humongous fund behind us who's taken over multiple companies, rumored have taken over possible countries, and cannot put together a five-man team to run a soccer club, where I understand you've never done this before, but at a certain point things need to move.
Yeah,
it cannot stay like this, where other people, we chat through the Milan Club Montreal chat, and I get the frustration, and it's a build-up of frustration from everybody. You see other teams moving in the right direction, and Milan kind of hovering to the, are we going to go really bad or are we going to go really well? And the longer we take to do this, the more papers write, the more fans get impatient, and the harsher the critique is going to come.
Again, we'll see. This is right now Monday night. What time is it right now? 9:30 Eastern time. The Raptors are playing. Maybe we're gonna get our first ever NBA title.
Golden State!
Mercato madness. Because obviously, Steve loves the Mercato. And on a side note, this week, I believe a couple of days ago, Sabrina, friend on Twitter, was asking Presidente about sandwiches, and Presidente like, hey, don't you worry, I'm gonna bring you to the best sandwich place ever. Sabrina, I don't know if you read between the lines what he was talking about, because he's not allowed to go out. It would be First Lady making her a sandwich, and that's why I replied back those few times I'm on Twitter. I think Steve and I can have you covered for sandwiches. Steve, do you concur?
Presidente's gonna bring him to Momesos.
Yeah,
so that's automatically he has a leg up on us if he could get out of the house.
If he could get out of the house, which is a little iffy. Question for Vice President, because Steve is the Vice President of Milan Club Montreal. As a Mercato addict, what have you heard this week and that makes sense for Milan, and what have you heard that is totally outrageous? And by the way, Steve, no Mercato news other than Milan news on the WhatsApp group. Presidente.
Who made this rule?
I don't know.
I'm vetoing his rule.
Presidente gave a couple of shots or whatever. I'm like, President, let them talk about whatever they want to talk. It keeps the group together, but
make the people happy. And the people will come.
Anything that made sense to you, not make sense to you?
Guys, there's so much going around. Again, let's repeat it again. I feel like a broken record. I want to know how much money we have. I want to know who we're going to sell. I want to know what direction we're gonna go. Are you gonna stay young? Are you gonna purchase some experience? Then we can make a valid opinion on what's gonna happen with the Mercato and what news is real and what's not real.
And a lot of the questions on Twitter, I was having a quick look. It's gonna talk about money. We're gonna get into
for me. The one that makes sense, and it's because it involves money that this club owes us. I really like the Sensi kid coming to Milan and washing out whatever they was for Locatelli and putting in the difference. It's an average buy. It's a realistic buy.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's doable. Young Italian, I'm all for that. Big. There's also, I saw the rumor of Duncan. That, on the other hand, is like, what are we going to take? All of Sassuolo? It's like we're making the same mistake again. Like, you're buying another piece that's gonna do what?
Exactly. I believe Tonali from Brescia. Brescia doesn't want to let him go.
A fantastic buy, and that's one of those buys. Vinny, that I was gonna talk about as well. That's one of those that you buy and you keep him at Brescia.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem. Like, we're having this discussion maybe last year, 2 years ago. Oh, we should go with the youth, and these names used to come up, and I said, because at that time was, guys, we're not going to go win a Champions League with the Sensis or not. No. But now, if your plan, right, after 8 years is going to be about, all depending, if you're going to buy all these young players and say we're going to make Champions League next year, you got to make
You're rolling the Ajax dice.
Ooh, I like that.
And that Ajax is just a super organization from top to bottom. Like, hey guys, you're having trouble finding people to fill up your front office. Go get some Dutch-speaking people, especially from Ajax. Let's try to think outside the box. If you have trouble with your youth system and you have trouble with scouting, I would go to have a look at those guys and see if someone wants to come over.
Speaking of youth system, President...
before we finish, Tonali.
See?
Just so that people don't crucify me on Twitter for this.
People crucify you?
I say, yeah, sometimes they get mad. I say leave him at Brescia for the experience of Serie A and the guaranteed playing time.
Yeah.
And also, playing in Brescia 1 year, where you're playing for salvation, makes... How do you say this? It's almost like worth 2 years of playing...
Yeah.
average or average soccer. Milan plays average soccer, okay?
And he ain't gonna start
And
every single.
not that he ain't gonna start. Not that we couldn't use him because the kid looks like he has some very good potential. I just don't want to destroy him.
Exactly.
It's again that North American stuff in me, where you draft someone and you try to plug him into a professional sport, and it's gonna be a little bit out of his element. I think he would be good at Brescia for another year, and then it's time to play in the big leagues.
Speaking of youth, Italy, we'll do this very quickly because I know a lot of guys are just Milan fans. Us Italians here talk about Italy has come up pretty strong in the last couple of outings. I don't know how many goals scored, 0 against. A lot of young players in there. Seems to be working, and 3-0 against Greece. And I was very, very on the side of Mancini saying we needed that fourth goal, and I was because you're up 3-0 after 30 minutes, and you just took your foot off the pedal. Is Greece that bad? Greece was pretty bad, but
bad.
we capitalized on our chances. And Insigne, why can't you do that against a big team? Did you see his goal?
Yeah.
That touch that he had, but so far, the Azzurini, wow, what a fantastic moment over there, 95th minute, coming back.
Yeah,
the
women.
The
Top marks watching that, and fantastic coverage from a lot of the local carriers here in Canada, and I hope it's the same in the United States. And it's something that it's not something that I'll have to admit that I go looking for.
No.
But my Canada is on. The Azzurini are on. Azzurre are on. Steve will be watching. Enjoyed it. 95th minute. Happens to be the same day that Francesco Totti scored a penalty shot against Australia. Same team the women beat at the 95th minute. Fantastic karma, and baba boom, baba bing.
Yeah, under 20 looks good, under 21 looks good.
Under 21. Okay, let's talk about the under
I don't
21 for a
understand
minute. Let's talk about the under 21.
Why is there under 20 and under 21?
I don't know. But under 21 team got released last week.
Mm-hmm.
Di Biagio is by far the weakest link on the U21 team. And I'm not gonna shy away from this. He's had in his hands 3 stud teams.
Studs.
Like really
Stallion.
awesome players. Awesome players. This U21 team is probably one of the strongest that I've seen in the longest time, besides the one that actually won the U21, if I'm not mistaken, Euro or World Cup. I don't remember which one it was. It's easy to go back to that team and say, oh, they were all fantastic. But this team here has a lot of players that already play in Serie A, under the age of 21. He cannot. People are saying, you know what, he's got to minimum make the final. No, this guy has to win. These players need to learn how to win. He's got a lot of good players on, and he can't screw this up. If he screws this up, there's a problem with FIGC.
Yeah.
For keeping him this long. We're making the Ventura mistake with the under 21.
We'll see what they go from over there. Where are they at right now in the
semifinals?
In the semifinals, right? So, all right. So why don't we start off with a couple of questions? Let's see what's going on over here in the Twitter world. And now I gotta go to the notifications. I gotta go through whatchamacallit there, the hashtag. Ask Vinny and Steve. Yes, President. If you don't, thank you for not mentioning it, because if they don't write it, I'm not gonna see it. Okay, it's been a while.
It's his birthday.
It was his birthday, Adriano. That pezzo di pane. It was his birthday this week, and we're gonna give you the first question. Buonasera, Milan Weekly Pod. Is the slight panic by Milan fans for not already appointing a coach, sporting director, still premature on you guys on board with the silent waiting game approach? Also, Blizzari has been great with the under 20s. Your thoughts? Thank you, Adriana. Like we were discussing it before.
Future president in the making.
Yeah. Blizzard, no, it's been fantastic to watch him. We've heard the name, Steve, from at least 2-3 years ago when he was a starlet at 16 years old. It's great to see. And if you listen at the beginning, you saw her opinions there about deciding glass half full, glass half empty. Thank you, Adriana.
But he makes a good point. Because, guys, we're missing the boat here. we're missing the boat on a very delicate Mercato. We don't have tons of money to patch up the mistakes. And it's not even the mistakes that I'm worried about. It's getting rid of the players that need to be sold. These players, if they're not sold, they're gonna stay. And if they stay, we're back with the deadwood. Gianpaolo, if it's him the coach, plays a different formation than Gattuso. We need to buy players that are gonna help him in this formation, or else we're setting him up to fail.
Yeah. And we need that decision. I read by Wednesday, maybe. I don't know. Jan from Milan Club Montreal. It's mid-June and Milan have yet to appoint anyone of importance. Yet Halal, Madrid, and other clubs are signing big names. Do you think Milan will be scrapping the bottom of the bargain bin when summer is over, or are most of our targets playing under 20, under 21? Yeah, and in the last couple of years, we did the big splash, 170 million with the Yong Hong Lee, and then all these big signings. I don't know. Maybe it's a different approach. If our targets are on the U20, U21 team, well, at least come out and come up with a game plan and tell us, we're aiming for maybe Europa League. We want to go with the youth. I know I've read Gazidis is wants low salaries, young players.
Well, Milan, you know what? There's a lot of things with Gazidis that I'm confused about. But one thing is that you cannot be finishing 7th and 8th with the third highest payroll in Serie A.
No.
So he makes a big deal. What were people doing before? Where they were just signing with Milan because they knew we were gonna double their wages? I don't get how these salaries passed. And I remember let's say Philippe Mexes was probably one of the top paid center backs. We kind of admire Philippe Mexes. He did love playing for Milan, but he was not worth the second highest salary in Serie A. It's there's a problem here with the way Milan was dishing out their money. You cannot force a player. You can force a player to come and play for Milan by giving him more money. It's just that what example are you setting for everybody else that's going to come and play for Milan?
Let's ask Tommy what he thinks about the silent treatment.
Before you call Tommy, I want to give top marks to Jan and Giacomo the Snake, who went back and forth via Twitter. If you
I saw the notification.
It was amazing.
They were respectful.
Financial numbers, and it was you're selling everything, and Francis is doom and gloom. Oh, Francis has a question in there about doom and gloom. Remind us that we're $400 million debt, blah, blah, blah.
He likes to poke the bear, right?
Yeah,
Francis,
he goes and find everything. Instead of thinking about his team, he goes and look for our team.
Let's give him a call, see what he says, Mr. Tommy. Oh, hold on a second over here.
Guaranteed Vince hangs up on Tommy.
Yeah, for sure. No, I got used to this phone over here. I think.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How are you, Mr. Tommy?
Very, very good, sir.
How was vacation? We're good. How was vacation? Did you enjoy yourself?
Very, very good and very hot.
Very hot. And now you got back to Montreal. The nice weather's out there.
You brought the heat.
You brought the heat, and
I guess I brought the heat back because I was talking to my friends and they said that at the beginning of last week it was cold.
Yeah, it was very cold. But enough with the weather, because we want your opinion on something, Tommy.
Go right ahead, gentlemen.
We want
my fellow Milanisti.
What do you think about the situation that Milan is in right now? We've had a couple of questions come up with the same subject. It's mid-June. We still have no coach, no people in position. We don't know who we're buying. It seems that Milan has no plan. Do you feel? Are you feeling impatient, or do you think they're taking the right course of action, going nice and slowly?
Well, look, we've been. It's been a couple of years that we buy players in advance, and then we're stuck with them. So I think it's the right course. Let them take their time, and let them do the wise decision. But you see, all the rumors that we're hearing on Naruma leaving, this and that. So here today, I saw on the newspaper Gazzini's opinion. He said he wants to take Donnarumma off the market because he comes into his style of what he's looking to proceed with his players. He's in that age. He became a superstar. I won't be surprised if he takes him off the market because let me tell you something. $60 million, even Gazzini said, is not enough. Donnarumma is worth easily between 80 and 90.
Yeah, but
not 60.
all depending, Tommy, with the the financial fair play. If we gotta believe the Suso.
The financial fair play. I told you that financial fair play in my book is garbage. And if I were Milan, I wouldn't even go to the Europa League this year. Take it as a loss. Concentrate solely on the campionat. Because if you concentrate solely on the campionat and you make La Coppa dei Campioni, which is the Champions League, you'll end up making money.
So, but
You don't need the Europa League.
are you good with the Suso at 40 million if the rumors are true?
Suso at 40 million. I agree with Suso at 40 million and Silva at 25 million.
Silva 25?
But while you're there, you can get rid of Çalhanoğlu. Çalhanoğlu is not worth nothing. You get that 20 million for him, get rid of him.
Çalhanoğlu's not going anywhere. Silva's probably going to stay because of the two-striker system. But I think Suso, Steve was saying, we'll gift wrap him and send him back, and we'll deliver him ourselves. But I guess.
No, but Suso did better than Çalhanoğlu last year. He's been harsh on them, but Çalhanoğlu only seems to wake up when we don't really need them anymore.
So we'll see. And I saw that you just posted a message.
I would sell them both. I would sell them both. Go get young players. Go get like I told you, go get some young, good prospects. Bring them back in because Suso's only good with 1 foot. That's all he has. He has that one maneuver, 1 foot. That's about it.
But
Çalhanoğlu, 75% of the time you don't even see him.
But Çalhanoğlu may be in the trequartista role, and Tommy, if we
this guy Nutulko, that when he came to Milan, he hadn't played for 6 months. Milan doesn't need players that in other teams they only play for 6 months, and then what are we buying over here? We're buying all the leftovers. No, we need top quality players. If you want to get to Champions League. If you really want to make the first four, you need the top quality players of other teams. Young prospect, but really talented.
So
that's what we need. That's what we're missing.
And in finishing up, Tommy, you think our first action as Milan is this Wednesday, according to your text message there, that Gianpaolo is going to be announced on Wednesday as officially. This is the start. Everything, maybe Boban. What do you think?
I think, I don't know about Boban. Boban, yeah, but I don't know how much if he has much experience, more Boban out there. But look, he's an ex-Milanista, and anybody that has worn that jersey, the red and black, they know what it means. So they know what it means. They
not the last four people.
Milan was at the top.
Tommy, not the last four people.
Level.
Yeah, Tommy,
Right?
not because
Not
they
wore the jersey, they know what they're doing, right? We gotta get out of that mentality.
No, but they have that thing. They have that pride in them because look, when they were playing at Milan, they were at top level. Even Boban said it today. He goes, when I was playing at Milan, we knew the importance of listening to your coach and wearing that jersey. That tells you everything. That's why even by Okoko, that he's not even there no more. That's why they let him go.
Well,
Not because of the financial fair play. It's because, look, you have to listen to your coach no matter who it is.
we'll see. We'll see where this week leads.
What do you guys think? Who's going to leave Milan? They're even speaking about Kessie. Kessie might even leave. I don't think that's a good move.
I see Suso probably leaving, and unfortunately, I have this bad feeling that Donnarumma is going to go at a high number. That's my personal opinion, Steve.
I would
don't
say
know.
it has to
Me,
be.
Donnarumma, I wouldn't let him. I would let him go, but not under, like I said, on X-Men.
On a high
Going
number.
price will be 120 million.
There we go.
120 million, I'll let him go.
Tommy says it here first, 120 million. We'll see what this week happens for Milan fans. Once again, Tommy, thank you very much for taking the phone call.
Well, guys, their pleasure is all mine. And once again, sir, you guys are the best.
Thank you.
And Forza Milan, we'll see what's going to happen this week. I really want to see the Calcio Mercato develop.
Forza Milan, Tommy. Thank you.
Forza Milan, guys.
Have a good night.
Ciao.
Always entertaining, Tommy. By the way, if this is the first time you're hearing Tommy, Tommy is quite the character, and that's what we call him every single week. And
Tommy Time.
Tommy Time.
But
Next,
let's touch on this a bit.
yes.
Can we get off this? If you played for Milan, you automatically can do something well in the front office as a scout, as a coach, as a whatever the hell you want to be.
I think,
Is it time to move on?
no, I think I understood what he's saying, but not on a guy with no experience. Like a Boban that's been working for FIFA and this and that. He's had a bit of that experience. Maldini is an exception to the rule. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I don't care about Maldini.
But you know, if we take it back to Seedorf, right? I think Seedorf was too fast too soon because he had
Yeah.
just finished his coaching license.
I agree 100%.
Gattuso, Inzaghi was a complete flop.
Yeah.
Inzaghi did what? A Primavera, and that was about it. Gattuso had a bit of experience. I am still convinced that the way we finished the season, and if we weren't in this rut, I think he would have stayed. Because right now, unless Gianpaolo seems to be on paper better than Gattuso, but again, we have
We
yet
don't
to
know.
see. We don't know, right? But no, I get you, Steve, on that one there. But you know, they were talking about Rui Costa, but Rui Costa has been at Benfica.
Rui Costa's been at Benfica. I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
Vinny.
but he's got the experience.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing that's bothering me now. It's like we're trying to find these legends who could possibly, and everybody laughs, Everybody laughs when the name Donadoni gets thrown out. You coach the national team. You coach Napoli.
He's got experience.
You've coached Bologna. These are these are coaches that have had experience. Have you had the best teams? No. But we don't want to give a chance to someone like Donadoni, but we're open arms to bring Boban back because he worked at FIFA. Who knows what he did at FIFA?
But I think you got the right people making the right decisions.
And I
now.
have nothing against Boban because
Totally.
I think that his critique is honest and pure, and it's not something to sell papers, or he's not a
No.
character to sell paper. It's honest and pure. When we're shit, he says we're shit. When we're good, he says we're good. His role at FIFA, it's a good connection to have. Very good connection to have. But is he the right person for this job? I don't know.
Christian Espinoza, which I didn't recognize, he's from Lima, Peru.
Woo.
Oh, look at that. I've been
Machu Picchu.
I've been trying to
Machu
find
Picchu.
the one. Yes, I think so in Peru. Yes. I've been trying to find the one player that cost under 100 million that would be the biggest difference maker for our Milan squad next year if we could add him. I have come to a conclusion that is Marco Verratti. Thoughts? Think Maldini should try and get him. Well, in this, no offense, this fantasy world of yours, let's just say we did have 100 million.
Thank
to
you,
spend.
my friend. Thank you, my friend.
But Marco Verratti.
I'm gonna throw something even bigger at you, which popped into my head
But
because
that's
of
a pretty good
Mercato
pick.
matters.
That's a pretty good pick.
PSG, you want Donnarumma? No problem. You want him at 60? No problem. Verratti comes with Donnarumma.
Okay.
Huh?
Now we're talking.
Huh? How about that?
Now we're talking.
Don't tell me he's worth 40 million now. He's been injured every 2-3 games.
What would you take?
I think Verratti has been getting a lot of negative press because of the fact that he's made of paper. He's made of paper. He's missed a lot of games with PSG. And does PSG really need him? In the league, no. In Champions League, yes. He's a ball winner. He has some touch. Actually, he has a lot of touch. But his potential has not reached to what we've built him up to be
Exactly.
because of the injuries. I think a change of scenery for Verratti is something that's going to be phenomenal. Will he come to Milan? I don't know. This is where you throw the high salary stuff out the window. Because a player like that, who all of Serie A, every single team let go to PSG for a stupid amount, everybody should be penalized for that.
Yeah. Tick Size asks us from London.
Tick ass.
Tick Size.
Tick size.
With preseason training just over a month away and a number of key personnel not in place, let alone new signings, do you think we are not being proactive enough right now? I'm concerned we're not moving fast enough. Thanks for the question, and I think we could be on Steve's side saying getting impatient, this and that. It could be on my side and Tommy's saying we've went through that route again, taking our time. I think it's more the silence that we don't like, but so far because there hasn't been an announcement, we haven't screwed up.
Tick size.
Yeah.
We've been put through the ringer as Milan fans.
Yeah.
We went with the Fasone, who silence wasn't something. A statement came out all the time. And we ended up having a guy we don't even know is real. Young Hong Lee. Well, now we're going through the silent treatment. Where, we went first before Young Hong Lee. We had the who knows what's happening with Berlusconi and is he running for Prime Minister, and Galliani never telling us the truth. Mr. X, 99.9%. Tevez goes to Juve. Bullshit like that. Fast forward to today. We have Gazidis. Gazidis seems to be a man that first does not speak Italian. So it's not him leaking stuff to the press, that's for sure. Because the rest did have to Google translate everything. But he seems to be a guy who holds his cards very tight.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to have to live with this. So myself personally, very impatient as a fan. As a businessman, I trust in Elliott that they made a good decision and are going to make a good decision on these positions that we need.
Before I get into that Snake's question, I want to read something here from Milan I from Facebook. The Corriere dello Sport analyzed Milan's finances and warned they'll reach June 30th running at a €100 million loss for this year alone. 413 million over 5 years. The club is under its third ownership in 3 years after Silvio. Then Young Hong Lee defaulted on his loan payments, meaning AC Milan was effectively repossessed by hedge fund Elliott management. Failure to qualify for the Champions League put even more pressure on the finances, and the Corriere dello Sport calculates that they are currently running at a loss of 100 million for the 2018-2019 season. This is why sales are needed of around 30 million by June 30th to take that figure down to slightly more acceptable levels. The losses have been getting worse and worse over the last 5 years, from 91 million in 2014 to 126 million for 2017-2018. Over that period of 5 years, Milan have been running a loss of 413 million euros. So Francis asked, how concerned are you guys with this latest article? Presidente has never seemed very worried about this before. Do these published numbers change his opinion? Listen,
One.
Francis, it's.
I'm worried. And I'm not worried about the money and the debt because you know what? Inter operated at a loss there. They got saved by Sungin. Sungin saved them and did a fantastic job. They sold off their Primavera, and that was a bit of the Jan and Francis going back and forth, which is for a team like Inter the right thing to do. I'm gonna admit it. You need to get in the plus. You're gonna sell these Primavera players that are quote unquote some unproven. They might have sold someone who in 5 years we're gonna say, how stupid were you to sell them? They rolled the dice, but they got their finances in order. It also helped them that last year they got into the Champions League, beating Lazio at the last match day. Same thing again this year. That money helps. I get it. These numbers, where did they come from? That's what I would like to know. Where they got these numbers. We're going back to the Silvio era. If you go, you're gonna have to go back to everybody in that era and see where they're operating at. I want to see everybody on what they're operating at.
And I think the numbers are alarming if we need to believe all these numbers and reports. But there's always that other side of me and going, we're not the only one. So it's like, don't tell me that PSG or Manchester City is
Runs on
making
the green.
$1 billion in profit. It's like,
PSG
it is alarming. It is
spent
alarming.
400 more than our debt on 2 players.
I could understand that they made money here, they made money there, but they kept on getting kicked out of Champions League. How much of that money, like even Juventus, why is nobody talking about Juve? Like, you tell me Juve's in the green?
Juve is probably not in the green, but they're not in the green because they did spend money. They do spend money, and remember, being the only team in the Champions League from Italy, not this year, not the year before because Roma was there too, it went pretty fast, but all the other years where we didn't have all 3 teams or 4 teams move on to the round of 16, Juve cashes in all the TV side of the money. So that's a lot of money. Also, the Agnelli family is very rich, has a lot of very good connections. We cannot compare to Juve. Juve really did it right. They screwed up, went to Serie B, and they completely restarted the machine. Milan did not go to Serie B, and God, please, I would not be able to handle it. So someone fix my Milan. If it's you, Elliot, fix them. Do what you gotta do. I will be patient on that point. But let's stop screwing around. Let's get the finances in order.
At Mistigal, Moss, I believe, with Giampaolo almost certain to arrive and the whopping 40 million transfer budget, who is your ideal signing? Also, am I an idiot for being a little excited to see Andrea Silva in the 4-3-1-2? No, you're not an idiot. I think he needs like another fresh start. I know it came out really bad over there at Sevilla. I think he had a falling out with the coach. But guys, 4-3-1-2, you can't go in with just 2 strikers. What are you gonna do? Play Piontek and Cutrone every single time? You need Andrea Silva unless they sell him and they go get somebody else. But no, I like that. Ideal signing at 40 million.
There has to not be one. There has to be a couple.
There has to be a couple because we have a couple of pieces.
And remember, it's 40 million, and you have to understand that we will use the money that we sell players to reinvest. It's not 40 million. They're gonna use some of that money. I don't think they're gonna use it all. We are gonna get that $100 million number down, and we're gonna sell and we're gonna purchase. You cannot sell and bring you cannot sell 10 players at $1 million each and have a roster of 14. No, you have to have a minimum amount of players, and I'm pretty sure that they know what they're looking for and what they want to buy, and I think if you're going that way, yes, you buy cheap, and you know what? It was a perfect example. Lazio took a risk on, they gave us Biglia, but they signed Lucas and they signed Luis Alberto for peanuts. Took a gamble and it worked out.
It worked out fine. So hopefully that could happen for us too. Last question at Dom at T Pepperoni. Good day, boys. Are you guys feeling as bored as I am without Calcio? Yes, we are.
Yes.
How about these rumors? Manager rumors, director rumors, 40-50 million budget plus sales rumors, as we've been talking about it. And he asks, what's our favorite type of pizza? Favorite type of pizza? Steve?
For me, it's Napoletan pizza.
Because
I don't like the circle.
Yeah.
I like it all screwed up there. And I like, Nazachicha with a little bit of, not too many. No, I don't want that stuff. I want pizza stuff. I want pizza. Cheese, I don't want pepperoni, but I want like sausage, bacon, like a meat lover one.
I gotta go with, Dom, my grandfather had a restaurant for like over 50 years, so it was always the all-dress pizza, classic, the way my grandfather used to make it, and I'm always gonna remember, if you guys want to test it out, if you have a real good pizza, a regular size, hold it up. If it stays straight, you got a good pizza. If it goes down, it means you got shit. That's always gonna remember from Abbonanimo of my grandfather.
Viagra.
Or Viagra, yeah. Let's go into the brioche and the indigestions of the week. What did he give? What did he give us? So Presidente is saying that his indigestion, we're in 2019 and people still putting the women's soccer teams down. By all means, you have the right to say you don't like watching women's soccer, but to start degrading the women and insulting them for pursuing their passion is disgusting. I don't know if Presidente saw some harmful tweets.
I don't know.
Twitter world is not real, Presidente. But no, it's just, it doesn't get the recognition that I get. It's just that maybe it's not promoted as much. I know you couldn't watch it on. What couldn't you watch on TV? Everything was online. I think most of the games were only online on TSN. No, the big games were on TV, but I think it was on the U20, U21. But then you could turn on and go, well, at least you're preventing me from going to try to stream it here and stream it there. I think it's just the whole marketing, right? I think we come back, Steve. The Premiership, is it the best league in the world? No. But how do they market the league?
And that's why. It's all about perception, and I think the World Cup for women is a great event.
It's come a long way.
You have to be someone who, again, you got to manage your expectations, right? This is new to the women's game. It's not long that they've been doing the World Cup. It's not long that they've been playing. Things will evolve. Things will get better. And it's like you watch a movie. You watch a movie for your entertainment. You don't watch a movie thinking, oh, this is going to win an Oscar, right? If you're watching Champions League or you watch Serie A day in and day out and expect that brand of soccer, well, unfortunately, you're not going to get that brand of soccer. It's a different game.
It's just like us trying to watch MLS over here, guys. If we have to nitpick every single thing in
100%.
MLS,
and that's men playing. It's just the talent is not the same in terms of MLS and other leagues. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you watch the women's game, you have to watch the women's game for exactly that. It's a brand new thing for the women. It's not long that they've been doing that. They've been playing professional.
Were in Canada a couple
exactly.
years ago.
Canada, like different countries. Norway was good, then Norway went down. The States is always strong. Canada had a run now. You see Italy putting up a good fight. Brazil is Brazil. So just take it for what it is. It's the beautiful game. You watch it. You watch kids on the street. You watch women playing soccer. You watch men playing soccer.
Some of them are very
soccer
skilled.
Is soccer.
And do you have any indigestions?
My indigestion of the week. I don't know what my indigestion of the week. I'm just pissed off that there's no soccer and there's not enough Mercato rumors.
Actually,
I'm gonna post a couple in the chat.
Did you not see that was my indigestion when I don't remember what popped up. Clamoroso, Gareth Bale to Milan on loan, and I'm like, who writes this shit? I don't get it. What do you call it? Clickbait? I'm like, oh my god. And that's the worst part is that somebody's like, oh, really? Gareth Bale on loan? Yeah. We're going to get Gareth Bale on a 4-3-1-2 system. Where is he going to play, Gareth Bale? On the existing wing?
To be very honest, I would take Gareth Bale.
I would take Gareth Bale too, but it's
Beggars
just that
can't be choosers.
Yeah, but first of all, nobody's ever talked about Gareth Bale. He just said he's staying at Real Madrid. Anyways. Brioche, I think this is for all of us as well. Well, for me, seeing Plizzari play the way he's been doing, the saves on the penalties, having fantastic games, seems to have it looks like a keeper that's been playing for the last 10, 12 years professionally. I like what I see so far. Is he a replacement for Donnarumma? Yes, but when, that is still to be determined, because it's a different animal, right? From going from under 20 to playing with professionals. Steve, any feel-good moments, your brioche of the week?
I'm giving it to the Azzurre for their 95th minute win against Australia. That was very good to see. I got shivers when I was watching it in the morning.
Nice.
And honorable mention.
Ooh.
Honorable mention, brioche of the week. Scored his first goal after 3 years. Wearing the numero 3. Gianfranco Polillo scores tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And it was a mix-up in the box. It was off someone's shin, off someone's arm, and he just poked it in the net.
As the mister of the team, did you keep your calm when you saw your son?
I told him he wanted to celebrate. I said, we don't celebrate on this team.
Guys, we'll see you next week. Hopefully, we're gonna have a lot more Mercato news by
3 years I've been paying for soccer to see him score, Vinny. It's a lot of money.
Auguri.
He's not the most talented, but it's okay. He's gonna make it.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Hopefully by Wednesday we got a coach and some sort of director. Ovunque sempre.
Forza Milan!
Ciao.